So, James Bray, 32 years of age, coming to the cage from pure warrior MMA, the Brawler, professional record of 1-1. Now, Frank, his first one was a loss, but he brought it round in August 2014, TKO by punches. So, although his debut was a loss, he went straight back in there, got a win and a stoppage. That must do wonders for his confidence coming into this one.
I'm a huge believer in guys coming back in after a loss, getting right back into it and trying to do it again, especially early in their career. It doesn't make a difference if it's amateur or pro. If you're under 10 fights in either one, if you lose, try to get back in right away as quick as you can. Obviously, time to heal, time to fix it, take a little bit of time to fix stuff up. But you don't need a full training camp. You get yourself right back in it in less, 6 weeks or a month and still be okay. If you didn't get hurt in the first one and you obviously didn't have any head damage, you went back in and got a victory, and it's really smart. I gotta be honest with you, James did it the right way. I don't know if he did it on his own accord or if his coaching staff was smart enough to tell me, look, we need to get this guy back in there before that 0-1 sits for too long in his mind.
Yes, so Mark Woodard there giving him his instructions. And Frank, here comes his opponent, 5'11", just an inch in it between the two, 25-year-old Sam Ferguson from the MMA Academy in Liverpool. Now, he's nicknamed Superman. On his pro record, he's got a loss, but he also won, I think, on his amateur record there. So he's 1-1, really, both by TKO.
It's tough in the very beginning. You're trying to figure out which way you're going to be. You're trying to be a striker, but you're getting TKO'd, and then you're trying to come back to be a striker and you win. So he's caught in the middle right now as to where's my style, where's my stance. That's the cool thing about this early in your career. You can kind of figure out what kind of fighter are you. Are you going to be a stand-up guy? Are you going to be a jiu-jitsu guy? Even jiu-jitsu guys, the brown belts, black belts, will still end up being strikers as they get in, as they find out their rhythm, their pattern, their game. You can talk about a multitude of wrestlers that were amazing wrestlers, end up being great strikers because no one can take them down. So it's really smart in the beginning of his career to kind of figure the spacing out. We're going to have to find out which way Sam really is tonight because, like you said, he wins one as an amateur by TKO, he loses one as a pro by TKO. Does he still want to play that stand-up game? Does he really still want to play a striking game? Or is he adapted and changed to be more of a grappler at this point?
So, tail of the tape here, as you can see, James Bray, 32 years of age, Sam Ferguson, the younger man at 25. Not much in the height, not much in the records. On paper, a very close match indeed.
This bout takes place in the BAMMA welterweight division. Introducing first, the man fighting out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet tall and weighed in at an even 170 pounds. He is a freestyle fighter. His record, 1 victory opposite a single defeat. Fighting out of Holyhead, England, James the Brawler Bray. His opponent stands across the cage and fights out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall and weighed in at an even and identical 170 pounds. He is a mixed martial artist. His record 0-1, fighting out of Skelmersdale, England, Sam Superman Ferguson. Your referee, Mark Woodard.
Now, Frank, when we talk about getting back in there, there's an important thing here. James Bray, straight back in. August this year gets his TKO. Sam, we're looking at, hasn't fought since 2012, so there's been that gap for him. Could that be focal here so early in their careers?
Yeah, it's tough. When you're sitting around and you're not competing, and competition is the hardest form. It means training camp and building up to it and getting ready. I don't care what anybody says. There is ring rust. It's finding timing, finding pattern. No matter how much you concentrate on it, no matter how much you work on it, things are gonna be a little bit off because now it's underneath the lights. It's Saturday night. All the crowd is here paying attention. We have a full capacity crowd right now. Everyone is looking at this. The nerves are getting to you whether you want to admit it or not. It's what happens. So having a long layoff, a 2-year layoff, is a very difficult time for someone, especially this early in their career. It makes a little more sense when you've had 20, 25 fights and you take a break to kind of heal your body up. You can wait a year in between fights when you're at that level, but at the early spot, you cannot take 2 years off and expect to come back at the same level, even though you train the entire time.
Well, you mentioned earlier as well, both these men obviously like the stand-up game. You just mentioned for Sam whether he wants to stay at it. He obviously is. He is obviously trying to match James Bray here at stand-up. And he got a good left on him, Frank. Wow. Very good left. And suddenly Sam Ferguson is all over James Bray. And Mark Woodard steps in. Well, we talked about the delay. He fought it back round emphatically there, Frank.
Yeah, he definitely comes in and you know, you can see in the background a little bit where James Bray is kind of complaining to Mark Woodard, but I want to say something actually before the fight started, but I get a chance to. Mark Woodard is one of the best referees out there. Unfortunately, folks at home, you didn't see some of the fights we had earlier tonight. He had 2 great stoppages that from ringside looked like the fight should have continued, but then once the guy rolled over and you could kind of see his face, like, oh yeah, this guy's eyes were going a different direction. And, you know, props to Mark for stopping the fight when he did. I don't care what James says or how upset he is, it was a great stoppage. You can see right here he gets caught, a nice leg kick, but then steps in and leaves his hands down and catches that left twice right in the head. He has his chin up and he kicks and comes out of position both times. And obviously you see Sam, you know, railing down punches, taking his time on it, and he's not going crazy. He's picking his punches and he's finishing them off. And of course, like I just said, Mark Woodard getting there for the great stoppage.
Funny you should say that, because obviously there's 2 things here. It's intelligent defense, and afterwards, when Mark had a quiet word with him, James just nodded and went, yeah.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you, I've done that more than a couple times myself. Thanks, ref, for saving my life.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mark Woodard halts this bout at 1 minute 10 seconds of the opening round due to excessive strikes. Your winner by technical knockout, Sam Superman Ferguson.